Hey team, so today's question is what is VO2 max and why is it important? Okay, your VO2 max is your body's maximum oxygen uptake. It is the point where you're running so fast, so aggressively that you cannot clear the lactic acid faster than it's building up. So when we're running easy and we're running aerobically, the lactic acid accumulation is so low that our bodies can efficiently clear that faster than it's building up. So of course, we're going to be able to run for several minutes, several hours at easy aerobic efforts. But the real challenge is training at your VO2 max. That's training anywhere from 95 to 100% of your maximum heart rate. So it's natural for us to only to be able to sustain that particular effort for anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes. And it's important because when you're running that fast, and you really should only be doing one VO2 max workout per week. There's some advanced level athletes that can be doing two hard aerobic or anaerobic like lactate threshold VO2 max type efforts in a day. But for most athletes, you can get really legitimate results by doing at least one VO2 max workout per week. And examples of that is doing like repeat 200s on the track, doing repeat 200 to 300 meter hill repetitions, where you're running all out on the way up or moderate on the way up and jogging or walking on the way down. Any type of explosive type activity where you're really stressing the energy systems and you're running so fast that you naturally have to stop, okay, and take a few seconds until that lactic acid buildup gets back down to low levels where you can start back toward your next hard anaerobic interval, okay? The recommendation I was always given over the years, training with Jack Hayes at Malone University, and with the other athletes and other coaches I've worked with, is wait till your heart rate gets back down to about 120 beats per minute before you start your next interval on the track, or if you're doing repeat thousands on the roads, repeat Ks or repeat 800s on the roads. Wait until that heart rate is back down to about 120 beats per minute before you start your next hard interval. And VO2 max is also, there is some athletes around the world that have lower VO2 max levels. Like Steve Prefontaine obviously had one of the highest, around 84 millimoles per kilogram. And then other athletes like Derek Clayton out of Australia, he was one of the world's top marathoners. He ran around 207 or 208 for the marathon. I think it was actually 208 to 209 range. And he did have the Australian national record for the marathon for many years. And his was around 68 to 69 milliliters per kilogram. There are some athletes that will have an ability to run very fast and produce very small amounts of lactic acid. You know, I was watching Mohamed Katir out of Spain. He was doing a workout yesterday. I was watching a video of him, and he was doing 2,400 meter repetitions on the track at 7,700 feet, and he was running anywhere from 67 to 68 seconds per rep. And he was getting his blood lactate levels checked after his repetitions, and his blood lactate levels were around 2.8 to 3.3 millimoles. That is extremely low concentrations of lactic acid buildup for an athlete that is running that fast and at that high of altitude. And the weather wasn't very good either. It was really cold wherever he was. But that's the type of workout that will help you to elevate your VO2 max capability. Okay, easy running is not going to help you improve your VO2 max. Okay, you have to run very, very hard. But what I love about in terms of the question of what is VO2 max and why is it important? It's important because the faster we train, the more fast twitch muscle fibers we recruit, and the more effectively, more efficiently we're going to race at. Okay, we want to be able to sustain race pace for longer periods of time, and preferably longer than our competition. You know, you want to be able to, if you go out in a race and you know you're going way too fast, you want to be able to have that strength and stamina that you've built from doing VO2 max type workouts. You want to have that capability when it comes down to the race. And again, I always talk about mental rehearsal, mental preparation. You also have to be extremely mentally tough to do these types of VO2 max workouts. Okay, it's going to take you time, so be patient with yourself when it comes to doing VO2 max workouts. Okay, it's one thing to go out and run easy. even to do a tempo run, you're running at a much lower percentage of your max heart rate, anywhere from 85 to 89% of your max heart rate. And I, as a coach, I utilize VO2 platform to help my athletes make sure. And what I love about that platform is it will help you to run at the correct intensities based on your current fitness. So as your fitness improves, your VDOT scores improve as well. And so you'll know exactly what pace you need to be running at VO2 max effort or at threshold effort, which again is doing your tempo runs, okay? But doing tempo runs and doing VO2 max workouts, the reason why those are so important is it helps to make your goal race pace to feel easier, okay? Less demanding on the body, okay? So VO2 max is anaerobic. So the faster we run, the more oxygen is required. So it's very natural to be in a great deal of pain when you're doing these types of workouts. But be patient with yourself. The body always adapts, provided that you give yourself sufficient time to recover between each one of your hard workouts, okay? Minimum time, give yourself at least 2 days of recovery between each hard interval or each tempo run. If you're doing VO2 max workouts, definitely you should be giving yourself about 48 hours of easy, relaxed aerobic running in between each one of those workouts that you're doing. And then a lot of times this VO2 max capability is genetic, okay? There's some athletes, like I said, there's some athletes that can run very, very fast for extended periods of time and produce very small amounts of lactic acid. And then there's other athletes such as myself. I had a small amount of talent, but I also produced high amounts of lactic acid when I was running at faster paces. And so if you look at guys like Eliud Kipchoge, the world record holder for the marathon, even the Kiptum, the Kenyan who just recently ran 2:01:53 at the Valencia Marathon, he became the third man in history to break the 2 hour and 2 minute marathon barrier. These athletes are running extremely fast, aggressive anaerobic efforts, but have an ability to accumulate very small amounts of lactic acid buildup. And again, that comes from doing a considerable amount of volume in terms of their mileage. They're obviously, these athletes and females, ladies and men out there that are running these world-class times, they're spending a higher amount of their weekly volume training at a much higher aggressive anaerobic effort. So it's not just because they're from Kenya or from Japan or from other parts of the world. It's because they're spending a higher amount of their volume at a much higher aggressive effort. So again, if you're training too aerobically too often, it's only going to make you a superior long, slow distance runner. So it just depends. Again, it depends on the athlete too. So your goal may not be to break a 3-hour marathon or to break 50 minutes for a 10K. Okay, maybe your goal is just to start and finish your race and to enjoy yourself and get out there and experience what it feels like to start and finish a 5K or to start and finish a half marathon. Okay, so respect to you for getting out there and putting in the work. And there are resources. I've created training plans, running coaching, monthly coaching, as well as running courses online at the RunDreamAchieve.com website. So definitely check those out. I did that to hopefully get more athletes around the world to set new personal best from the mile all the way up to the 50K distance. And yeah, I do have some experience with ultra marathons. I did a 31 miler in training. I've done a 27 mile run, a 28 miler in training. A lot of these runs, done at around 6 minute to 6:05 mile pace. So I hope this video is helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Leave me a comment below. I will definitely respond to you. And like this video, share it with other athletes that you know. Hopefully that it'll help them as well. And I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you in the next video.